This is America in the Morning from Westwood One. It's Memorial Day, Monday, May 27, 2024. I'm Clayton Neville in for John Trout. Here's what's coming up on America in the Morning.
Powerful storms caused multiple fatalities from Texas to Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Kentucky. I'm Jackie Quinn.
Donald Trump booed repeatedly during his speech at the Libertarian Convention. I'm John Stolnis in Washington.
We'll have a preview of closing arguments for the Donald Trump hush money trial. As Uvalde, Texas spends the weekend mourning the anniversary of the elementary school shooting, there's a new lawsuit being filed. We'll have the details.
On Wall Street, it's quiet for the Memorial Day holiday, but we're going to catch you up on what's been happening in the markets. I'm Jessica Ettinger.
A famous soap actor killed during a Hollywood robbery, and a judge's ruling on motions in the Hunter Biden case. All ahead on America in the Morning. The Memorial Day holiday weekend has been a deadly one in the Midwest as severe weather, including hail and tornadoes, have cut a swath of destruction through states including Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Kentucky, leaving more than a dozen dead. As correspondent Jackie Quinn reports, damage was also reported in Missouri, and even the famed Indianapolis 500 was impacted, forcing 125,000 people to be evacuated for their safety.
This is bad, but once I realized how other people just didn't have anything at all, it was like there's obviously people out there that had it worse, and people were missing.
We pray for the families that lost loved ones out here.
Powerful storms caused multiple fatalities and a wide trail of damage from Texas to Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Kentucky. Strong winds still blowing after Saturday's devastating tornadoes. Hundreds of families are dealing with the loss of their homes and over a dozen deaths. Cook County, Texas, near the Oklahoma border, was hard hit, with at least 7 people killed in the Valley View area. 2 of the victims were children, says Sheriff Ray Sappington.
There's nothing left of this house. It's just a trail of debris. So it's really, as daylight begins, the devastation is it's pretty severe.
This man tried to help some neighbors pinned underneath a truck.
The lady was laying under the truck, the kid was under the truck, the little girl was on the side, and her dad was screaming in pain.
A truck stop building collapsed on an area highway, injuring many. Deaths were also reported in Oklahoma and Arkansas. More storms are expected Monday. I'm Jackie Quinn.
On Saturday, former President Donald Trump sought the official endorsement of the Libertarian Party. But despite that invitation, he wasn't greeted warmly by those who were there. John Stolnis has more on that from Washington.
Trump took the stage on Saturday to the typical sounds of Lee Greenwood's God Bless the USA, but also the atypical sounds of the crowd in front of him booing him as he stepped to the podium to deliver an address aiming at convincing libertarians they should vote for him this November.
Well, in the last year, I've been indicted by the government on 91 different things, so if I wasn't a libertarian before, I sure as hell am a libertarian now.
There were some supporters in the crowd, but they were drowned out by the boo birds, some of whom held up rubber chickens handed to them by RFK Jr. allies to heckle the former president. Libertarians criticized Trump for his COVID-19 policies, the increase of the federal deficit during his presidency, and what they say are his lies about his political record. At one point, Trump read part of an op-ed by American political commentator DeRoy Murdoch that urged libertarians to nominate him for president.
Thank you, DeRoy. Thank you. No, only do that if you want to win. If you want to lose, don't do that. Keep getting your 3% every 4 years.
In 2016, Libertarian candidate Gary Johnson won about 3% of the national vote. Trump does not usually hold rallies before hostile crowds. Republican Senator Tim Scott, a potential VP pick for Trump, telling CNN State of the Union it was brave of Trump to speak at the convention.
If we're going to win this election cycle, we must go where we're not invited. And to see the former president take that seriously is, in my opinion, a strong sign. And one of the reasons why, Dana, we are seeing the poll numbers moving in his direction.
Reporting indicates some Trump allies on Capitol Hill are urging him to pick a moderate centrist running mate, even asking him not to rule out former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley, who announced last week she will be voting for Trump in November. John Stolnis, Washington.
Those are the top stories of the day, sponsored by Sleep Number. Save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed for a limited time only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com. Closing arguments in the Trump hush money case are expected to start tomorrow. So when exactly will the jury get the case? We'll get into it when America in the Morning returns after this. Some extra attention this Memorial Day weekend to the forecast. Don't want to spoil any plans. We are going to have severe weather in some spots, though, so let's bring in Matt Rindy.
The final day of the holiday weekend, Memorial Day itself, will have some showers and thunderstorms about, mainly through the Great Lakes into the northeast and then trailing to the south into the southeast and continuing westward to the southern plains. This is from a storm centered in the northern Great Lakes and its associated cold front spanning the length of the country from Maine to Georgia before turning westward to eastern Texas. The heaviest concentration of the storms will be across the northeast, where a few showers may start the day, but a heavier thunderstorms will start to form during the midday into the afternoon with the approach of that cold front. Anyone going to parades, ceremonies, or services should consider carrying an umbrella and also consider an action plan if heavy gusty thunderstorms develop during this time. A few of the storms will have the potential for gusty winds, hail, local flash flooding, and that risk will be inland to start over New York, southward to Virginia and West Virginia, and then mainly in the afternoon along the coast from Connecticut southward to North Carolina. A few of the storms could also be strong to severe along that front in Texas as well, with hail and damaging winds. Outside of the strong to severe storms, there will be some showers and thunderstorms through northern Michigan into Ohio, southward to Tennessee, as well as the rest of New England. Another system will dip into the northern plains with more showers and thunderstorms along it. A few of those storms could also become heavy in the afternoon from southern Minnesota into northern Illinois. The rest of the nation will be largely dry with sunshine in most areas. That's the weather across America. Macon, Georgia will have a very warm Memorial Day with sun and some clouds and an afternoon thunderstorm, high up to 89. Colorado Springs, Colorado will have mainly sunny skies and a high of 76. That's the nation's weather. I'm AccuWeather.com meteorologist Matt Rindy.
Remember to follow us everywhere you get your podcasts: Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and YouTube. Just search America in the Morning in your favorite listening app. Closing arguments will begin tomorrow in former President Donald Trump's New York City hush money trial. Trump, of course, facing 34 felony counts surrounding accusations that he falsified business records to keep porn star Stormy Daniels quiet ahead of the 2016 election about an alleged affair with Trump that he denies. The case started in mid-April, and the former president says it's hampered his ability to campaign, but he did find some time for that. He was in North Carolina over the weekend and is confident that he can take that state.
I do believe so. I think by a lot.
Some legal analysts and certainly Trump's allies say the case won't have too much of an impact on November's presidential election. North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum spoke with Fox News.
I think it's failed to get any traction because I think Americans see right through it. Americans have already acquitted Donald Trump. I think they realize that when you've got 5 weeks and you can't even prove or even articulate what crime has been committed.
During the 5-week span of the trial, the prosecution called 20 witnesses, including so-called Trump fixer Michael Cohen and adult film actress Stormy Daniels, both at the center of the case. Trump's attorneys will present their closing arguments first tomorrow, followed by the prosecution, and after that, Judge Juan Merchan will read the jury the charge, and deliberations will begin. It's believed the jury will have the case by Wednesday. It was a somber weekend in Uvalde, Texas, as the community held a solemn vigil on the 2-year anniversary of the attack on Robb Elementary School. But at the same time, attorneys filed lawsuits against well-known companies. Lisa Dwyer reports.
As the community held a vigil marking the 2-year anniversary of the school shooting in Uvalde, Texas, the families of 19 victims announced new lawsuits against Instagram parent company Meta Platforms, the maker of the video game Call of Duty, and the gun company that made the assault rifle used in the shooting, accusing them of partnering to promote and create content designed to glorify violence, effectively training the teenage gunman in one of the deadliest school shootings in U.S. history. They also filed a $500 million lawsuit against Texas state police officials and officers. More than 370 federal, state, and local officers responded that day, but waited more than an hour to confront the shooter. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
It's the auto parts store seeing a rev in business this Memorial Day. So what's driving us there? We've got Monday Business when America in the Morning returns. Don't go anywhere. The Business Report, sponsored by Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments has a team of specialists in investing, financial planning, estate planning, and more. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com. Here's CNBC's Jessica Ettinger with Monday Business.
Wall Street's quiet this morning as the financial markets are closed for this Memorial Day holiday, but stocks are on a pause ahead of the last week of May trading. Major averages are on pace for a winning month. One thing that's not paused, it's trading right now, it's crypto. You can buy cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin anytime 24/7. The market never closes. Some people may be spending time on this holiday dipping their toes in that water. Ethereum, the world's second largest cryptocurrency, had a great week last week as exchange-traded funds may be coming to make it easier for people to buy.
We've been talking about Bitcoin ETFs all year, and now the SEC has opened the door to ETFs that will track the price of spot Ether. The agency hit a decision deadline on one of the ETH ETF applications, and it has gone ahead and greenlit all 8 of them. So that includes BlackRock, Fidelity, Grayscale, Bitwise, and more.
CNBC's Tanaya McKeel. Retailers want you out there shopping today. Target especially. Its shares tanked last week on mixed quarterly results. And it announced that it'll try to compete with better prices by lowering them, including in grocery, as Americans look for items to barbecue today. It's especially the lower earning consumers that companies are watching.
You've got the lower end consumer that's pretty much fixed here, and they're in real stress. Got credit cards maxed out. We think that people are going to make shorter trips, trade down in terms of whatever hotels they use, trade down in terms of restaurants.
The Conference Board's Steve Odland on CNBC. Millions of people flying today and tonight. Forecast to be a super busy summer, too, but the Transportation Safety Administration's been doing a lot of hiring to be ready.
We've added lanes, we've added staff, we've added technology. Finally paying our workforce what every other federal employee would be paid for that kind of a job. And that has had a big difference in our ability to retain talent. And so our retention rates have gone up by 50%. So it's a significant improvement.
TSA Administrator David Pekoski on CNBC.
Jessica, the auto part chains have really been great stocks. How come?
Well, as people drive their cars longer rather than pay so much for a new one, they're just fixing their old cars up. People could be in their driveways today working on their cars. Turns out when a vehicle hits about 6 years old, that's the magic number where people dig in to try to DIY.
6 to 15 is the sweet spot for do-it-yourself repair, if you will, or keeping that vehicle going on the road and going to an auto parts retailer. Take a look at shares of O'Reilly, AutoZone, Advance Auto Parts over the last year. Yes, they're off of their 52-week highs, but these stocks have been off to the races.
CNBC's Phil LeBeau. On tomorrow's watch list, we do start the final week of May trading. Stocks on pace for a winning month. Earnings are coming from Box and Kava, and we get the latest on home prices and consumer confidence.
Hollywood shaken up this Memorial Day after a well-known actor is shot and killed. We'll have details when America in the Morning returns after this. Shocking news this Memorial Day morning out of Hollywood, where actor Johnny Wachter, best known for his role as Brando Corbin in the daytime soap General Hospital, was shot and killed during a robbery attempt. Variety reporting that Wachter was walking to his car when he saw 3 people around it, all wearing masks. When he approached them, one opened fire and 3 suspects got into another car. Police believe they were trying to steal the car's catalytic converter when they shot Wachter. Along with a starring role on General Hospital, he appeared in a variety of movies and TV shows. He was in Westworld, Station 19, and NCIS. Wachter was 37 years old. A federal judge has made key rulings in the case involving Hunter Biden, clearing the way for a trial to begin next month. Correspondent Donna Warder reports.
Hunter Biden is charged with lying about his drug use in October 2018 on a form to buy a gun that he kept for about 11 days in Delaware. The president's son acknowledges an addiction to crack cocaine, but his lawyers have said he didn't break the law and that the case is politically motivated. One item both sides have been arguing about in court, the contents of a laptop that Hunter Biden allegedly dropped off at a Delaware repair shop. In court documents, Biden's attorneys questioned the authenticity of the laptop's data after Republicans accessed and disseminated personal information from it years ago. The federal trial in Delaware is expected to begin June 3rd with jury selection. Hunter Biden is also facing federal charges in Los Angeles. That trial is scheduled to begin in September. I'm Donna Warder.
America in the Morning this Memorial Day, Monday, May 27, 2024, is produced by Jeff McKay. Senior producer Kevin Delaney. I'm Clayton Neville in for John Trout, and this is Westwood One. This is America in the Morning from Westwood One. I'm Clayton Neville in for John Trout. Here's what's coming up this half hour.
Powerful storms caused multiple fatalities from Texas to Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Kentucky. I'm Jackie Quinn.
The Pentagon's chief is telling Naval Academy graduates they have to be ready for immediate challenges. Sagar Magani, Washington.
A deadly weekend in Chicago. A judge's ruling in the Rust case and a vicious New York City subway attack. We'll have those stories.
About 2,300 people in the United States died with their death certificates mentioning the effects of excessive heat. I'm Norman Hall.
Will we ever retire? Haya Panjwani has that report.
It was a lackluster Memorial Day weekend at the box office. I'm Kevin Carr.
Back after these messages. A lot of us paying attention to the forecast this Memorial Day morning. Matt Rindy's here to sort us out. Matt, what can be expected on this Memorial Day?
There will be several areas where thunderstorms could turn gusty today. First, we have a storm centered in the northern Great Lakes. That system and its associated cold front will span the length of the country from Maine to Georgia before turning westward to eastern Texas. This will lead to several showers and thunderstorms through these areas for our Memorial Day, a few of which will be strong to severe. The heaviest concentration of the storms will be across the northeast, where a few of the showers may start the day, but the heavier thunderstorms will get going from the midday into the afternoon with the approach of that cold front. Anyone with any outdoor activities, including parades, ceremonies, or services, should consider carrying an umbrella and also consider what to do if a heavy gusty thunderstorm does develop during this time. Many of the storms will have the potential for gusty winds, hail, and flash flooding. That risk will start over inland areas from New York southward to West Virginia and Virginia, then mainly in the afternoon along the coast from Connecticut southward to North Carolina. A few of the storms could be strong to severe also in parts of eastern Texas with hail and damaging winds. Outside of the strong to severe thunderstorms with that system, there will be some showers and thunderstorms through northern Michigan into Ohio, as well as Tennessee and the rest of New England. Another system will dip into the northern plains with more showers and thunderstorms along it. A few of these storms could become heavy in the afternoon from southeast Minnesota into northern Illinois, containing gusty winds and hail there as well. The rest of the nation will be largely dry. We'll have a few scattered afternoon showers, largely over mountain areas. The rest of the area will have plenty of sunshine, with afternoon temperatures near or slightly above the historical average, with 60s in the north to 100s in the southwest. That's the nation's weather. I'm AccuWeather.com meteorologist Matt Rindy.
Remember to follow us everywhere you get your podcasts. Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and YouTube. Just search America in the Morning in your favorite listening app. The Memorial Day weekend kicked off the official start of the summer travel season, and despite higher prices, the roads, the rails, and the airports are all off to a pretty impressive start. At the nation's airports, the TSA hit a single-day record to kick off the holiday weekend, screening almost 3 million people at security checkpoints nationwide on Friday. As correspondent Jackie Quinn reports, AAA estimates more than 43 million people will hit the roads and drive at least 50 miles to their destinations. Today will be another major travel day.
This is going to be one of the busiest travel holidays we've probably seen, in the air, on the ground, and on the rail. And with weather also coming in, the inclement weather is going to cause some delays at airports. Delays, frustration, it just trickles on down.
I don't know why we're delayed, but someone told me that they were delayed yesterday, so maybe it's a ripple effect, but I'm not sure. But yeah, it's quite inconveniencing. However, if you have friends, like I do, it helps, right? It's Memorial Day, holiday weekend, so we need to learn to relax.
The TSA says a record number of travelers were screened at U.S. airports on Friday, as passengers look for their gates and collect their luggage at Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International. The Transportation Security Administration says more than 2.9 million air travelers were at airports across the country for the Friday getaway. That tops the record set last November on the Sunday after Thanksgiving. The AAA's Aixa Diaz had predicted busy airports.
We're not just talking about pre-pandemic numbers. We are surpassing pre-pandemic numbers.
Texas passenger Steve McLaughlin was happy to reach Philadelphia.
Yeah, no, it wasn't too bad. I came from Houston, and it looked like the volume was picking up pretty heavily at the security, but I got the early flight out. So, yeah, just looking forward to a great weekend. Looks like the weather's going to cooperate, which is great, and I'm excited about, kicking off the summer.
AAA predicted 38 million people will be driving over the long holiday weekend.
I don't want to be a part of road rage and anger and frustration. This is a weekend that we need to be calm. Memorial Weekend is a weekend to celebrate those that we've lost, the soldiers that have served our country, and those that have passed on.
I'm Jackie Quinn.
AAA says the worst time to be on the roads today will be in the afternoon, when return trips home will be at their peak. Driving in the morning before 11 and after 7 o'clock tonight will likely have the least travel delays. Airports will be their busiest early in the morning and late in the afternoon. The Israel-Hamas war is becoming increasingly violent. An Israeli strike on Rafah killed dozens over the weekend. The Gaza Health Ministry says at least 35 people were killed in that strike that hit a camp for people displaced by fighting in the war. Israeli officials say the rocket struck a Hamas compound in the area, killing 2 senior officials from Hamas. Since the October 7th attacks on Israel, Israeli leaders haven't backed off of their pledge to completely eliminate Hamas. Oftentimes, that group hides out underground in highly populated areas, leading to civilian deaths. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has a warrant out for his arrest after the International Criminal Court concluded there's war crimes being committed on both sides. Florida Republican Congressman Brian Mast spoke with Fox News Sunday Morning Features over the weekend and said growing anti-Israel sentiment is giving a boost to Hamas.
After action by the Biden administration and others that the Biden administration supports that are boosting our non-ally, our enemy, that literally holds American hostages as we speak to bring down the morale of Israel.
Democratic Congressman Jared Moskowitz told Fox News Sunday the warrants are political.
This is pressure, unfortunately, from the international community that wants to see no more Israel, and they're using the ICC to go ahead and do that. And I think the United States needs to respond in a strong, bipartisan way.
There's some pushback on Capitol Hill over House Speaker Mike Johnson's recent announcement that Netanyahu will address Congress. But Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries says a lack of support for Israel isn't as relevant as some people may be making it out to be.
The divide is overstated.
Speaker Johnson not wavering on his support for Israel.
The Jewish people deserve to live safely in their ancestral and spiritual homeland.
At an event late last week, he talked about a need for Christians and Jews to be united.
My friends, we are bound by the same foundational beliefs. We're strung together by the same psalms, and we celebrate together the unique Judeo-Christian heritage of our own republic, this grand experiment in self-governance.
Hostage talks and discussion over a potential ceasefire are expected to start back up in coming days. The pressure's mounting in Israel. Protesters and police had run-ins over the weekend as demonstrators there called for the release of hostages. and a ceasefire. The Pentagon's chief traveled to Indianapolis, where he told Naval Academy graduates to be ready for immediate challenges after some former classmates were immediately thrown into a fight. Washington correspondent Sagar Magani reports.
The Pentagon's chief is telling Naval Academy graduates they have to be ready for immediate challenges, drawing on the experience of their old classmates.
The Carney conducted 51 engagements in 6 months, which is the most direct Navy engagements with a foe since World War II.
Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin notes 2 of last year's graduates were just aboard the USS Carney in the Red Sea, where they helped shoot down missiles and drones fired by Iranian-backed rebels.
Those ensigns were aboard the USS Carney, and they helped defend freedom of navigation in the Red Sea. They helped those in distress at sea. They helped degrade the capabilities of the Iranian-backed Houthi militia, and they helped shoot down missiles and UAVs.
Austin's message to the newest Navy and Marine Corps officers:
what comes next is not a drill. You will lead sailors and Marines through tension and uncertainty. Your teammates will look to you for leadership, for grace under pressure, for calm under fire, and you will be ready.
Sagar Magani, Washington.
Actor Alec Baldwin not off the hook in the Rust shooting as a judge weighs in. We've got the latest when America in the Morning returns after these messages. The holiday weekend has been a deadly one in Chicago. Police report at least 25 people have been shot since Friday, 5 fatally due to gun violence. One of those killed, a 5-year-old girl shot while sitting in a parked car on the city's west side, allegedly hit by a stray bullet. Last weekend, there were 45 people shot with 1 fatality across Chicago. And last year, over the Memorial Day weekend in the nation's 3rd largest city, 11 people lost their lives, among 53 shot, one of the city's deadliest weekends last year. A New Mexico judge has rejected a request by actor Alec Baldwin to dismiss the sole criminal charge against him in a fatal shooting on the set of the movie Rust. Lisa Dwyer reports.
The decision means the case remains on track for a July trial. Prosecutors previously dismissed an involuntary manslaughter charge against Baldwin before rebooting the case. A grand jury later indicted Baldwin on the same charge in cinematographer Helena Hutchinson's death. During a rehearsal, Baldwin pointed a gun at Hutchins when the revolver went off, killing her and injuring director Joel Souza. Baldwin has maintained that he pulled back the gun's hammer, but not the trigger. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
New York City police have a man in custody this morning after a violent attack in the city's subway system. Police report the suspect, who was acting erratically, tossed flaming liquid at a man who was waiting for a train. The severely injured 23-year-old man was at the time trying to protect his fiancée when he was doused, burning nearly 30% of his body. Surveillance video led police to arrest 49-year-old Niall Taylor, who now faces charges including arson and assault. Police also believe he may be the same person who was wanted in a similar incident last February. Are you making plans for your golden years? Well, a recent survey of older Americans found that many believe instead of leaving the workforce, they don't see themselves retiring ever. Correspondent Haya Panjwani reports.
An AARP survey found that about a quarter of U.S. adults 50 and older who haven't retired yet don't expect to, and 70% are concerned about prices rising faster than their income. About a quarter say they have no retirement savings, the biggest reason being the rise in everyday expenses and housing costs. The AARP study, in coordination with the Norg Center for Public Affairs Research, was based on interviews completed with more than 8,000 people, and it found that 1/3 of older adults carry a credit card balance of more than $10,000, and 12% have a balance of $20,000 or more. 37% are worried about meeting basic living costs like food and housing, but 33% of respondents 50 and older say they believe their finances will be better in a year. I'm Haya Panjwani.
As we officially start summer, doctors are concerned following last year's large number of deaths related to extreme heat, not just for people enjoying the outdoors, but also for people working outside. Correspondent Norman Hall reports.
An Associated Press analysis of federal data shows about 2,300 people in the United States died in the summer of 2023 with their death certificates mentioning the effects of excessive heat. That's the highest in 45 years of records.
Heat will kill you. Heat at 119 degrees, that's a death sentence.
Dallas resident Carla Gates says her husband Eugene's death certificate says his body temperature was...
After my husband passed, looking at the medical records, my husband's body temperature was 104, and that was after they cooled him down.
The National Weather Service's Victor Murphy says extreme temperatures in parts of the hard-hit South were worsened by high humidity.
The combination of the air temperatures plus the humidity, which really, hammered someone if you were outside. It was very, very debilitating.
Murphy says the heat event is due to a high-pressure system parked in Mexico, and it is eerily similar to last June's deadly heat spell. I'm Norman Hall.
Scientists have used computer models to 3D print all kinds of useful objects and tools. Well, now university scientists are printing surgical-grade bones. Here's Chuck Palm with today's tech news.
With the help of machine learning and AI, scientists at University of Illinois have 3D printed a resin replica human femur. This innovative approach to orthopedic repair uses a fully controllable computational framework to produce a material that mimics human bone. Developed by Yingji Jia and Professor Shelley Zhang, the combination of machine learning and 3D printing has a new bio-inspired material that could improve conventional methods for healing broken bones. Professor Zhang described the project as starting with materials databases using a virtual growth simulator and machine learning algorithms to generate virtual material and then learn the relationship between its structure and physical properties. She went on to say that having a tangible model allows them to run real-world measurements, test efficiency, and then confirm if it's possible to grow a synthetic material in a way that's analogous to how biological systems are built. Leave us a comment at allthetoptech.tech. I'm Chuck Palm.
It's time for sports, brought to you by Untuck It. Spring is here, so go to untuckit.com or any one of their 80-plus stores to find the perfect fit for your spring wardrobe. Here's Robert Workman.
The Dallas Mavericks are one win away from the NBA Finals. They cut down the Timberwolves 116-107 in Dallas for a 3-0 lead in the West Final. Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving each had 33 points. The Mavericks held Minnesota to one basket in the game's final 5 minutes. Tonight, the Celtics go for the sweep in the East, Game 4 against the Pacers at Indianapolis. Stanley Cup playoffs, Game 3 of the East Final. The Rangers edged the Panthers in overtime for a 2-1 lead in that series. Alex Wenberg netted the winner.
I feel like this is a team. It doesn't matter who's the hero. It doesn't matter who does it. Everyone fighting for one another.
Tonight, Game 3 in the West, the Oilers and the Stars in Edmonton. Baseball, the Guardians won their 9th consecutive game, holding off the Angels 5-4. They become owners of the best record in the American League. Rockies top the Phillies. Padres put down the Yankees. Rays into the Royals' 8-game winning streak. Astros over the A's. Ronel Blanco back from suspension with 7 strong innings. Kyle Tucker back on top of the home run list with 18. Braves buried the Pirates. Chris Sale gets his 7th straight win, but Ronald Acuna Jr. suffered a torn left ACL, and that means season-ending knee surgery. Orioles whipped the White Sox. Kyle Bradish fired 7 no-hit innings. Rangers got a pair of dingers from Corey Seager and beat the Twins. Reds down the Dodgers. That's LA's 5th loss in a row. Tigers, Mets, Cardinals, Mariners, Red Sox, and Marlins win. Joseph Newgarden took the Indianapolis 500 for a 2nd straight year, the first driver to do that since Helio Castroneves 22 years ago, and 6th all-time. Rain delayed the start at Indy, and it brought an early end to NASCAR's 600-mile race in Charlotte. Christopher Bell declared the winner after 249 of a scheduled 400 laps. That's Monday Sports.
A battle at the box office this Memorial Day weekend. We'll go to the movies when America in the Morning returns. Stay with us. There was a slow holiday weekend at the box office with a battle for the top spot between a Mad Max-style movie and one that starred a cat. Kevin Carr has details.
Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, sputtered into a dead heat with the Garfield movie this weekend.
Furiosa fought the world. You've obviously never been in an Olive Garden that's run out of breadsticks.
In spite of glowing reviews, Furiosa only managed an estimated $26 million through Sunday.
Remember me?
Not including COVID, this is the lowest grossing Memorial Day weekend since Cliffhanger topped the list in 1993. And back then, tickets were about $4 and gas was less than $1 a gallon.
Wait for it.
In second place, which might become first when actual numbers are reported on Tuesday, was Garfield with just under 26 million.
Color me intrigued.
It's not a home run for the cynical feline, but considering its budget was about a third of Furiosa's and it has strong international numbers, Garfield should be in the black pretty soon.
Oh, Odie, you'd think he'd see that coming.
Last week's champ, If, fell into third place with $16 million.
Thank you. You ready for this?
And at number 4 was Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. The primate powerhouse made $13 million in its third weekend.
What a wonderful day!
Rounding out the top 5 was another summer misfire, The Fall Guy, with just under $6 million.
You're a stuntman. Nobody's going to notice you. That's your job. No offense.
I mean, some taken.
Finally, Sight from Angel Studios, which released last summer's sleeper hit The Sound of Freedom, landed with a thud in 7th place with only $2.9 million. I'm Kevin Carr.
It was a busy weekend of entertainment news. Here's correspondent Margie Zaraletta.
A New Mexico judge has rejected actor Alec Baldwin's request to dismiss an involuntary manslaughter charge against him in the shooting death of a cinematographer on the set of the movie Rust in 2021. Friday's decision paves the way for Baldwin's trial to start in July.
I'm a doll, but I still want to party.
Musician Nicki Minaj will reschedule Saturday's concert in Manchester, England after she missed it over an arrest in the Netherlands. Minaj said on social media, police in the Amsterdam airport told her they found marijuana in her bag as she was boarding a plane for Manchester. Police confirmed they fined and released a 41-year-old woman for drugs. Bassist Charlie Collin, formerly of the band Train, has died at the age of 58. Charlie Collin's sister tells Variety he died after falling in the shower while house-sitting for a friend in Brussels, Belgium. Collin was the original bassist for Train and played on songs like Meet Virginia, Drops of Jupiter, and Calling All Angels. He struggled with substance abuse and left the band in 2003. The Walt Disney Company says songwriter Richard M. Sherman has died at the age of 95. Sherman and his brother Robert won 2 Oscars for writing the music for Mary Poppins. They also wrote music for The Jungle Book and Winnie the Pooh. I'm Archie Zaraletta.
America in the Morning this Memorial Day, Monday, May 27, 2024, is produced by Jeff McKay. Senior producer Kevin Delaney. I'm Clayton Neville in for John Trout, and this is Westwood One.